Holy titties, so Goblin Slayer seems to be all the rage these days. We should check it out and see what's going on with an honest description. In case you're unaware, the word honest has quotation marks. Prepare to be triggered. No, seriously, trigger warning on this bad boy. This anime wants to let you know right away, they are not screwing around. They will be the edgiest son of a slam you'll ever see. So you have quivering little girl facing up against a knight with armor nearly as terrifying as Lord Twigo's, and I wouldn't say that lightly, with crazy fire stuff flying out of his eye. Now, since this is anime, we know there's no actual fire stuff coming out of his eye because whenever they want to make someone cool, they just make fire stuff streak out of their eye. However, this guy clearly looks like a bad guy because this girl's terrified, look at her face, and this guy's a badass, look at his face. I wouldn't cuddle with him, bad guy confirmed. Now wait for the plot twist, it'll blow your minds. So you know how many YouTubers try to confuddle their audience by playing a clip out of context from the middle of the episode? Like you have a guy laying in a pool of blood. We literally died. Then it turns out they didn't literally die in the middle of the video. Well, that's kind of not like this at all. Anime wouldn't do that. They're not gonna try to clickbait you to watch the whole episode because of this scene. No! This isn't out of context at all. It's almost like we've seen the same exact thing before in Danmachi. Oh wait, we did. But since we're all curious how she got to that situation, we get to see some of the past. Makes sense to me. She wants to become an adventurer and she's a priestess, the job that literally no one ever wants, ever. She can like heal people and stuff. Wow, that sure comes in handy later in the episode. She'll be getting glory for her battles. So now that she's an adventurer, which seems to be a very normal job in this not trapped in a game anime, at the ripe age of 15, where she's obviously completely mature and can make life-threatening decisions at her leisure, she immediately joins a group of 3 other adventurers who all have never done a single mission because they're like, hey, goblins are the weakest monsters, let's slay some goblins. Literally nothing could go wrong. In fact, if I would have named the anime, I wouldn't call it Goblin Slayer, I would have called it Literally Nothing Could Go Wrong, the anime. Brilliant idea. The adults watching, wave them farewell. Oh, this society is already so developed and caring of one another. We trust these children to be competent enough to accomplish missions, to save another adventurer party of women that have failed this exact mission before them and have yet to return. Makes sense. By the end of the episode, we realize that this kind of thing happens all the time, so it makes sense that they're doing this. It's not like they've ever heard bad stories of this in the past, so, they don't need to prepare or anything. No! Let the 4 of them just humble down into the little cave thing. Nothing could go wrong. Who needs to prepare? After all, you do have typical hype douche leading the party. Foolish me. I almost forgot to introduce our main characters. We have hype douche leading the mission with no knowledge of the mission. We have happy airhead just listening to whatever hype douche says. We have bitch wizard because every group needs a bitch wizard. And we have the main character who seems to have the personality of meek-minded but along for the ride. Since all these characters seem to be integrally important to the plot and have been developed so well up to this point, I can't imagine anything bad befalling them. They seem to know exactly what they're doing, and this doesn't seem to be a setup of a dark, edgy anime at all. It's such a nice-seeming world. So far, it seemed like everything was going exactly like Danmachi. Oh yeah, it was. Oh look, the characters split up and all of a sudden, main character and bitch wizard don't have a torch. Oh, they're gonna get ambushed for sure. Hey, they got ambushed, didn't see that coming. Good thing bitch wizard has amazing original powers like... Hey, that seems familiar. Nah, probably my imagination. But this woman gets wrecked and the anime gets real. We are leaving Danmachi territory, fam. The anime just went full Kuroinu. Bitch wizard is stabbed, so the white mage, priestess lady who has the ability to heal her can finally show her worth. Spoilers, she doesn't. But don't worry, hype douche is here and he is prepared. LOL. He gets freaking destroyed by the little bastards. This is so sad. Alexa, please play Vento Oreo. Don't worry, they're 2 down and 2 to go, but one of those remaining 2 is a main character and the other one is about to go down in history. She attacks them, doesn't even defeat a single one of them, but since there's like a zillion of them, those horny little bastards who have been capturing girls, well, to put better, you know how you like those edgy hentai? This is basically edgy hentai from a horror perspective. All of a sudden, it's horrible instead of your favorite thing you like to do under the covers where no one ever sees you because it's really way too creepy. Horny goblins for Supreme Court. Too soon? Nah. But you can tell the brilliance of adaptation from this amazing work. In the light novel, we actually had backstories to those 3 characters who are now not very happy. And we heard their dreams and aspirations. So it was actually really freaking sad when, well, stuff that made them not very happy happened to them. But the anime was like, why do we want our viewers sad? Anime is to make people happy. There's literally nothing sad in this show. Let's take out all that stuff and just introduce the characters like lumps of flesh. This is Hype Douche. This is Airhead Bimbo. And this is Bitch Wizard. Ah, they died. Obviously, the emphasis isn't for you to feel bad for these characters because they weren't really characters. But the idea to get across is, look how horrible these goblins are and someone needs to slay them. Yes, these terrible, cruel goblins that 4 people went into their home to massacre the lot of them. Ah, how dare they defend themselves, ferocious beasts. I legit felt worse for the good guys in Kuroinu, and that's a hentai.
Despite having the same exact plot, mind you.
Then we go back to our main woman, who is terrified of the goblins slowly approaching upon her, as she should be. I would be terrified too, to be quite honest. Again, I would not be in that position, for I am far too much of a pussy. One of my most valuable traits, mind you. But do you remember that scene from the beginning of the episode that made it look like the creepy night guy was a bad guy? Well, he's actually a good guy. No one saw that coming. It's not like we saw the cover page of the anime, right? And he heroically killed those 2 goblins. Wow, very impressive. Not to mention doing it in the most edgy, badass way possible. The guy's carrying like 15 blades, and he pins the goblin to the wall with a shield, burning his face off with a torch. Yeah, that's effective, fam. But anyway, he got the point across. The guy's the Edge King, and he's not a huge fan of goblins. And we know that because when he stabs the second goblin in the head, blood flows out of his head for like 5 seconds straight. That's a lot of blood. It's almost like we're watching Bleach here. But Goblin Slayer says we are not watching Bleach. Because if we were watching Bleach, we would allow the bad guys to survive and multiply. We are Goblin Slayers. It's time to kill them all. And they do. Good thing he had the little priestess lady to help him out. She was extremely helpful, blinding them 2 crucial times. It's almost like he knew that she'd be there before. Except he didn't know she would be there before. I want to meet this guy. I want to know the person whose favorite pastime is going into smelly cave pits, exterminating goblins with the chance of being completely blindsided and destroyed. This guy probably had a hell of a backstory, potential daddy issues, and so much edge it's as if he wants to kill his older brother to avenge the Uchiha clan. But it's cute how he goes about killing the goblins, you know, with a completely different strategy to wipe out every individual goblin. I mean, it's not like you could use the same plan twice, right? Or is it just to make him look cooler? Well, anywho, they eventually rescued the women that were captured there, and they killed out the goblin babies. But wait, how are there goblin babies if there were no women goblins? Yeah, I will not answer that question, for the answer is far too traumatizing for this audience. And honestly, a little bit gross. To be honest though, these goblins are obviously sentient and obviously conscious. The fact that they can only multiply with human women means that they are fighting for their own species, and the fact that they kill adventurers that invade their homes also means that they are protecting their species. If this doesn't get into a philosophical series like Shinsekai Yori does, by the way, Shinsekai Yori's amazing. I'm sorry, Digibro. It's freaking great. Then I will be disappointed. Now, a lot of people asked me, Nux, what were your initial thoughts? Is Goblin Slayer a good anime or not? So, to be quite honest, everything that we've seen until this point is basically all backstory for what the show is going to be. So I do not know, after one measly episode, which is the backstory, how the show's gonna progress. Now, I assume there were 3 basic purposes to this episode 1. The first purpose would be the backstory of Priestess Girl, who is going to be the main character. The second will be her relationship with Goblin Slayer and how it blossoms, because I have a feeling they will be the main duo of the series. And thirdly will be the cruelty and viciousness of the world they inhabit. To be honest, if that's exactly what they're trying to get across, I'm a little disappointed because all the reasons that I've mentioned being pro-Goblin philosophy, as well as why it's okay to send these 15-year-old noob kids to their untimely, absolute demises. I don't understand how the society works if it actually is as cruel of a world as it seems. The point here is, it was not amazing, and I don't know if it is good or if it's bad. All I know is it's no classic. So Mother's Basement on Twitter saying it's absolute trash, edgy garbage garbage, uselessness, well, the story didn't really start yet, so I would wait at least another episode or two. If the whole story is supposed to be a psychological and philosophical tale, then this first episode retroactively will be a decent one. And Chibi Reviews, who says this is what Berserk would look like if it was animated correctly, nearly gave me an aneurysm. The comparison of rape in Berserk to rape in Goblin Slayer should have never been uttered by anyone, and that is potentially a video for another day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Don't know why I felt like doing this, kind of because I was getting mixed feelings across the entire AniTube spectrum on Goblin Slayer, and I feel like no one really said we don't know yet. I've heard people claiming it was amazing, and I've heard people claiming it was absolute garbage. So hey, here's an honest description to sink your teeth in. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want more. Links in the description to Twitter and stuff. And since this is a relatively short video, I'm not gonna go through the Patreon list. But thanks to all the Patreons. You guys are beast. And to everyone watching, remember to stay weird, fam.